You know? I mean, we have drugs that are available. I mean, how many times you talk to a girl, oh, I don't do drugs. Meanwhile, she's hammered, smoking a cigarette. You know, I mean, everybody, there's drugs, caffeine. I mean, I'm drinking a coffee right now. It's sanctioned. It's a sanctioned drug because it's great for capitalism. It keeps you going, it keeps you working. But there's drugs out there that are actually good for you. There's drugs out there that are actually good for your mind, and they're probably an important part of human evolution. You know, Terence McKenna believed that psilocybin and psilocybin mushrooms are the very reason for human evolution in the first place, the reason why we evolved from the lower hominids. He believes that the change in the atmosphere made these monkeys come down off the trees and start experimenting with new foods. And one of the things they experimented was eating things that grow on cow pies and eating these mushrooms. And it's also one of the reasons why in so many different religions, cows are holy. You know, in Choctaw Hiok, which is like one of the oldest known civilizations, they all worship cows. There's a really complicated ant civilization from 5,000-6,000 years ago, and it was all about cattle worship. And that's because that's where the mushrooms came from.
Can I stop you for a second?
I think the monkeys' minds were expanded by mushrooms.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? The growth of the human brain, this is the stoned ape theory is McKenna's theory, but the growth of the human brain doubled in brain size in 2 million years, and it's the biggest mystery without question, without contest, in the entire fossil record. And this is evolutionary biologists all agree on this. It's something they don't understand. Within 2 million years, the human brain doubled. That's insane.
I think I know why, though. Because for a long time, they were probably just walking up to tigers and just slapping them. and something in the species said, this is not working. I think it's smart.
We got to try another way, right?
Well, it's funny that you say that because, you know what, we have genetic memory. I mean, that's another point. Like this guy, Rupert Sheldrake, wrote about this, that, you know, children, when they grow up in New York City, they're not afraid of child molesters or, you know, clowns or muggers. They're afraid of scary monsters. Everyone's afraid of scary monsters. And what that is those leftover memories of people getting jacked by cougars, you know, and mountain lions and jaguars. I mean, because that's what our enemies were when we were living in the trees, you know. That's why chimps live in that's why, like, when you're in a house, the master bedroom's always upstairs. That's all leftover stuff from the chimp days when we had to get the little skinny branches to hide from the big cats. That's all that stuff that's in your memory.
I
thought it was just you didn't want your guests rummaging through your bedroom.
No, it's a fort. You want to keep the animals from coming up. You want to be able to fight them from the
high
top.
ground.
I want to go back to the cow thing because, like, we all heard about how, you know, civilizations like worship the cow.
Yeah.
And the average person, meaning just about everybody listening right now, go, stupid people worshiping cows, instead of maybe like trying to figure out where that came from and if there is something that makes sense about that.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah, but to me, I'm like, what idiots?
Well, psilocybin grows much more easily on cow manure than much more easily on manure. On, you know, when animals, vegetables, and, you know, a plant, when it gets pumped through the double stomach of these cows, it makes it very easy for spores to grow on these things.
Yeah.
So it's very common for mushrooms to grow on cow dung. And if you were a primitive man and you had no access to science, you didn't understand what spores were, you don't have a microscope, you would know that these cows produce something which made the most beautiful experience possible, made your ego dissolve, made you think of everyone as being one, made you love everyone, made you completely humble, make you really spiritual and holy, and it's coming out of this cow's butt. You know, you would worship that cow. You wouldn't think of it as like, oh, it's stinky cow poo. You'd be like, no, that's God. That's the source of God. You pluck that out and you eat it, and it blows your mind.
A bit of observation here of an observation. I'm looking at instant feedback. People saying Joe Rogan is the only guest where you need to Google the entire time you listen to him. People are Googling their asses off right now from name to
Terence
dog.
McKenna's stoned ape theory is one of the most fascinating theories I've ever read about human evolution, and it's all about psychedelics.